Welcome back to Hot Takes Live. And we are off to the first session of the first track. Very excited about it. Matt Bolian, welcome. Cannot wait for your talk.
I too am excited, Armando. Thank you for let's do this. So we ready? We'll just jump straight in.
No, so just a couple of words on your role and your company. You're co-founder and head of growth at RevPartners. And you know a thing or two about RevOps. In fact, this is the topic of your session about RevOps, not, all caps, being a methodology.
Yes, I like to say RevOps ain't, because I'm from Mississippi, but RevOps ain't a methodology. So we'll be diving into that. So confirming everyone can see the screen, and we'll get going. Okay. So, I just want to do this. Interesting fact is I just had I just had a baby, and he is 3 weeks old. I now have 2 boys. And I served in the military for about 6.5 years. It's actually where I learned revenue operations. It's military intelligence. It's a lot of synthesizing of data, disseminating of data, analyzing it, and then getting out to people so we can make decisions. So that's where I started thinking about revenue operations. So here we go. Where is the origin of this? Guys, all I do is think about revenue operations. We serve RevPartners serves as RevOps departments, as RevOps as a service for 50 plus companies where we just do RevOps. And what I found is, especially as we started training people and looking for talent or going out to hire, is all broadly, we're just missing a common framework for understanding revenue operations. And let me give you some problem statements that we have. Everything you hear, which we're going to go over in a second, are too heady. It's too theoretical. It also doesn't give a way for us to make decisions. It's like when you talk about RevOps alignment, there's really no way to make a decision based on what that definition is. It doesn't connect strategy with tactics. Saying something's alignment doesn't give you how to create the alignment, and then doesn't tell you how to prioritize. Where should I be focusing on when? How do I generate revenue, and what should I prioritize to effectuate making revenue larger for the company, either through net new or expansion? And then there's really we don't have a common language. When I talk about outbound prospecting, or I talk about inbound, or I talk about ABM, or I talk about go-to-market motions, we're all talking different things and we mean different points. And so, when I say RevOps is not a methodology, part of it is RevOps is something much bigger than that. And it's an entire profession. And we'll dive into what I mean by that and how this goes. So let us continue. And I just went all the way to the bottom. So let's go back up to the home. Okay. So here are the 3 topics. What the heck is RevOps? And we have 10 minutes. We're gonna go through this real quick. And then we'll get to these other ones if we do. And there is a framework that we can start applying. So let's go through. Number 1, I think this is helpful to ask this question. What were people doing before there was RevOps? Like, we haven't been talking about RevOps very long. It's only been, if you look at Google history, it's been like 5 years, and it's risen in popularity as a word. So what were companies doing, like Coca-Cola and Delta and these big companies doing? You know what they were doing? They were running profitable billion-dollar companies. They were doing revenue operations. So one of these points is revenue operations is not new. We talk about like this, some new methodology that we appeared out of nowhere. We started applying. Companies been doing revenue operations. The difference is revenue operations is now a competitive advantage. It's almost a price that we pay. And if we don't think about executing revenue operations well, then we can't run a company well. And that has not always been true. And there's been a systemic shift. So we have to think about it. So let's think about, if I'm just, I actually did this as I was reading every RevOps thing out there, about 50 different like ebooks on what revenue operations is getting ready for this. I went to Google and I typed in, what is RevOps? And if you look at this, first off, you'll see there's a bunch of paid ads, everybody trying to tell you what it is. Second is, if you go on this you'll see that there's a complete guide. What is revenue operations? What is revenue operations? What are revenue operations? Is SEO has ruined our ability to even think through this. And you'll notice all these are SaaS companies attempting to rank number 1 to tell you what revenue operations is. And that's just not this is just not very helpful. And you'll see SEO sometimes messes up our ability to definitions. And if you go and you start clicking on all those things and you click down them, you get definitions like this. You probably heard about them before. It is RevOps is an alignment between marketing, sales, customer success. RevOps is a mindset, a practice, a manifestation of unifying internal operations. And you just keep going and you just keep going. It's all the same. It's all the same thing over and over and over. It is, and you hear this, the strategic alignment between every department. And guys and gals, this is gobbledygook, and you can't in any way use it to effectuate or build a program on. Not only that is many of these things are defining them. When you say alignment, you're defining it by the end state, and you don't define things by the end state. You don't define a soccer game or a baseball game or a football game by scoring points. No, there's a team of certain people, and there's all these rules and regulations that go in the game. There's specific strategies to win. You don't say the game of soccer is scoring goals, because that would be a hopefully inaccurate description, and it would lead people astray. So let's go through what RevOps is not. When this is RevOps is not. It is not new. It is not a methodology or alignment. It's not a mindset or way of thinking. And it's not something you can start or stop. Everybody, if you have a business or you are or you're working for a business, you are participating in revenue operations. So let's use this is a very common analogy that's used when we think about revenue operations. I think it's particularly good in this use case. Is sabermetrics. Sabermetric is the and before, if y'all haven't seen, there's this big. It's all about the sabermetrics, and it's about it goes over as a whole show. It goes over the video of how the Oakland A's baseball team were able to outperform everyone else. It started a whole revolution that's now kind of been coined as sabermetrics. And so you look at sabermetrics, it is the empirical analysis of baseball. And what it does is number one, it's repeatable and you can replicate it. It says with the idea that we can repeat and we can win over and over again. So winning seasons can be replicated and repeated. There's a process that baseball teams can teach, measure, repeat, improve, explain, and apply growth strategies to win more baseball games. It's built on this premise that there are certain things that you do over and over again that will help you execute, and thus a process can be done around it. And last, there's specific ways to collect, synthesize, and disseminate data that will help inform the process that can then be replicated and repeated. And so when you talk about what sabermetrics is, this is a really good use case, because when you look at RevOps, this is fun.